So the big question today is, will we ever see a public test round for Diablo 4? Well, right now, Blizzard is actually changing up its tactics on how it releases patches for the game. So we've definitely got to talk about this one. Plus, fans have been very busy data mining Diablo 4 and have discovered a new item that can also somehow connect to the secret cow level. And get this, since early access, there's been an NPC that has been acting a bit strange. Got to talk about it. Also, a forum post from 23 years ago complaining about Diablo 2 has resurfaced. You have got to see this one for sure. But yeah, let's get into this post right here from Icy Veins that says, will we ever see a public test realm for Diablo 4? This is a great question. Let's scroll on down. So it says, in World of Warcraft, Blizzard released new builds on the public test realm weekly, also known as the PTR, of course. Now, this allows players to test and provide feedback on upcoming features before a patch is officially released. However, in the case of Diablo 4, there have been no PTR announcements despite the community backlash after the release of patch 1.1. Woo, that was a doozy. Now it says, in contrast, Diablo 3 had a different approach, offering a 7-day testing period for season patches. Now, the developers would then make additional changes before the season started based on player feedback. Now, it goes on to say, as for Diablo 4, the game underwent public testing through open beta weekends and the server slam, of course. Now, ever since the game was released on June 5th, patches went live instantly with the patch notes being posted on the same day. Now, this has changed because we have an official post here. They updated their blog once again, so we've got to dive into what they're doing officially on how they are going to be approaching patches and updates. So check it out. It says how we are addressing concerns and why and how our approach to patches will change moving forward. We will take a more surgical approach when adjustments to balance are needed. We will ensure that if we're adjusting something overpowered, we'll provide compelling alternatives for players to explore for their class instead. Now, we will also be improving communication, sharing patch notes at least a week prior to launch so that we can have meaningful conversation with our community. But they don't say that you'll get the chance to actually test out the patch like with Diablo 3, and it's definitely not going on a public test realm. At least that's not a thing that's happening yet. Furthermore, it goes on to say this, we will be introducing several changes in the upcoming patch 1.1, of course. They will be continually evolving the in-game with high monster density, more powerful builds to mow down and activities to challenge your build. So if you didn't know this is happening. We believe that making changes to certain builds, rebalancing nightmare dungeons, and creating additional engaging in-game experiences will ultimately result in a better game for more types of players. So this is definitely a step in the right direction, don't get me wrong, but the question is, will this lead us to ultimately the introduction of a PTR? And is this something you guys would like to see? Or do you think perhaps this could have a negative impact on the game? I think having core players really looking at what they're doing to balance and adjustments could be super helpful before, of course, they release a major significant patch. Now, the good news is they have stated, hey, we're never doing a patch like patch 1.1 ever again, so do not worry about that. But when it comes to nerfs and that sort of adjustments, they need to get feedback first and foremost. And this idea of making what they're called adjustments, which in my opinion is most likely saying nerfs and then offering up alternatives in their place, is still a major issue. No matter what, you're going to be most likely ruining someone's build. So for me, this makes me a little bit apprehensive as well. Now, we've also got to talk about this headline right here as well. It says, Stamina Potion Data Mine, Diablo 4's Secret Cow Level Search Continues. So this comes from both Wowhead and, of course, icyveins.com. So let's go ahead and get into this one right now. It says this, it's a secret cow level not implemented yet. Now, this is fairly new. It says the community's vigilant search for the elusive secret cow level continues with a newly data mine potion in patch 1.1. Now, the last time we looked at the cow level in Diablo 4 was more a month ago. The community discovered what appears to be the entrance to some sort of cellar tied to the secret cow level called Forlorn Hovel, as you can see right here. And also you can see how this forms the shape of a cow head. Now, since then, the community tried almost everything, but their search came to a halt. The secret cow Discord came to the conclusion the cow level still has not been implemented by Blizzard. Now, stick with me. because it leads to this one right here. Patch 1.1 seems to support such a theory with the addition of a mysterious stamina potion that provides players with an unknown buff. Now, the tooltip reads the following: what little remains inside of the vial has long since desiccated into powder. Now, the item hasn't dropped in the game for anyone yet. We'll need to wait until patch 1.1.1 to see if they add any new items that could potentially be tied to the Cal level. So there is this assumption that the stamina potion somehow is very much connected to the secret Cal level. There is a history, of course, of stamina potions in Diablo, so it could mean that they are going to be just adding some sort of new feature to the game, or also this could be a seasonal feature that could be coming up in like season 2, 3, who knows? That's speculation on my part. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But it would be cool if someone actually finally discovered the secret Cal level. All right, so let's keep going. We have this one right here as well. It says Diablo 4 NPC Spinning since early access. This is hilarious. Now, it goes on to say this right here. Players have noticed a strange NPC in Kiavashad that has apparently been spinning since early access. We've got to take a further look into this. Let's head on over to Reddit and find out what's going on here. It says, I think we broke the algorithm. And as you can see, he's just spinning here for some unknown reason. And there's multiple posts about this, as people are wondering if this is some sort of perhaps Easter egg or hint or clue to something that we're missing right now. Let me know if you guys have any idea of what this could mean, because you also have to remember he is holding on to a lantern in his right hand. Yeah, I don't know if this is significant or not, but yeah, people are definitely talking about it right now for sure. All right, so yes, we also have this one right here. It says the following: I collected data on what % of time in Nightmare Dungeons was spent actually fighting. This comes from Oh Yeah. It says TLDR across 10 runs in early Nightmare Dungeons, tiers 5 through 10, 43% of the time was spent doing combat and 57% was spent running around. Now we have further in-depth analysis about this. It says last season I pushed Nightmare Dungeons pretty high, and this season noticed by comparison how empty the lower tier Nightmare Dungeons felt. Decided I would actually try to collect some data on that. A few different variables I identified with my playstyle, and specifically how I collected the data. It says he used OBS to record the runs, mostly Nightmare 5 through 15, on relatively fresh TV Rogue. After the run, he used a stopwatch and recorded time engaged in fighting mobs. Number 3 says I did not include time where I was running past ignoring a small pack of mobs, but if that did turn into a larger pool, I would retroactively count that time as combat prep work for setting up an AoE. Number 4 says I tried to start recording combat time about when my brain was setting up a pool, not when I first attacked an enemy. Acknowledging that sample size here was limited, here are some interesting points. The worst run had 21% combat time. I had to double back twice after missing turns for objectives. Highest was 65%, had pretty good objectives, kill all enemies plus slay the pile of eyeballs. I only had a few dungeons with a boss at the end, but they were consistently less, quite a bit less than 10% of the total dungeon time, usually around 5%. Overall, that feels pretty bad, I think. This is absolutely fascinating. There is a reply here. It says, can't believe there aren't more responses to this. Good research, thanks, confirms how it feels. An in-action RPG. And this is why I think a lot of you guys want mob density increased. And this is why, yes, we are going to be seeing an increase in mob density in Nightmare Dungeons as a whole. So that's going to be good news. Helltides are also going to be seeing that mob density increase. But that's the first step to really adjust this and kind of fix this problem. Because yes, you don't want to be spending your time in Nightmare Dungeons running around aimlessly trying to pull levers, figuring out objectives, that sort of thing. It needs to be more action oriented, and that's why some people describe it as being more of like a sleepy time ARPG, I guess you would say. So yes, I think this type of information Blizzard should definitely take to heart. And again, this isn't just to nitpick the game. I think this sort of information is excellent feedback. It only makes the game better. So yeah, if you feel like I'm just absolutely highlighting nitpicking posts, no, that's definitely not the case. Now, we have this one right here. It says, this forum post from 23 years ago about Diablo 2. Check it out right here. It says Diablo 2 sucks, overpriced garbage. Okay, for those of you who haven't bought or played this game yet, stop right there and save your money for a better game. Did you like Diablo 1? If so, then reinstall it and play it again, because that's basically all you'll be doing with the second version. They keep the same graphics and put in some new classes with different skill progression, a few more creatures, more levels of course, and a storyline. I tell you what, if it didn't take them 2 years to make a clone of the first game, then I wouldn't be flaming them. Some quick bad points. Graphics are only 640 by 4080 only. Get real. What the F? Did I buy my GeForce 2 then? Battle.net always down and unstable. Sure glad they had some stress tests. You need over 64 megs of RAM. Otherwise you're SOL, because the game will chop out on you, especially in large battles. Thank God I have 320 megs. I'm done complaining because it's given me a headache. I am so disappointed I paid $55 for this piece of crap game that after 3 days, I was already sick to death of playing because I finished it. The memories. Wow. You know, how things have changed. Actually, one thing did change significantly about games is the price. So like the bare minimum price we can expect now isn't 55, it's 70. You know what I mean? So that is freaking hilarious, that post. But also this response got me. It says, now his son is probably bitching about Diablo 4. Probably, you know. So, you know, from generation to generation. All right, so yes, there it is. The latest happenings around Diablo 4. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Stay tuned here for more Diablo 4 coverage, news, and updates. I have you guys covered. And yes, I hope to actually cover some other games. There's some interesting things on the horizon for sure. But thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.